Now let's proceed to the next component of curriculum design, which is conceptual framework, which is also divided into two, horizontal and vertical organization. Horizontal organization blends curriculum elements. For example, by combining history, anthropology, and sociology content to create a contemporary studies course, or by combining math and science content. While vertical organization refers to the sequencing of curriculum elements, placing the family in the first grade of social studies and the community in second grade social studies is an example of vertical organization. Another example of this is our K-12's spiral progression curriculum. So when considering how to design a curriculum beyond that suggested by sequence of textbooks and chapters, we must contemplate carefully on the socioeconomic, political, and cultural factors that influence our choices about horizontal and vertical organization. Next is part 3 of the components of curriculum design, which is design, dimensions, and considerations. In this video, we are going to talk about the scope, sequence, continuity, integration, articulation, and balance. Let's start with the scope. The scope is consisting of all content, topics, learning experiences, and organizing threads comprising the educational plan. The curriculum's horizontal organization. That's according to John Goodland and Shin Su. A curriculum's full scope can extend over a year or more. It includes all types of educational experiences created to engage students in learning. It involves both cognitive and affective learning and is limited to simple listing of key topics and activities. Usually, units are divided into lesson plans, which are organized activities and information into periods of hours or minutes. So what should be considered in designing the curriculum content? So first, the domains. We must consider the learner's cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains. The coverage. We must determine what will be covered and in what detail within each domain. The emphasis. We must decide also which domain should be the most emphasized. Next is sequence. There is a long-standing controversy over whether the sequence of content and experiences should be based on logic of subject matter or the way individuals process knowledge. So curricularists seek a curriculum that fosters cumulative and continuous learning, and they must decide how content and experiences can build on what came before. Those arguing for sequence based on psychological principles draw on research on human growth and development and learning. Essentially, the third big idea, Rousseau's developmental theory. While Piaget's research provided a framework for sequencing content and experiences or activities and for relating expectations to students' cognitive levels. So most school districts consider students' stages of thinking in formulating curriculum objectives, content, and experiences. Thus, sequencing according to Piaget's theory of cognitive development is mostly seen in curriculums. Curricularists faced with sequencing content have drawn on some fairly well-accepted learning principles. These are simple to complex learning, prerequisite learning, whole to part learning, and chronological learning. And here are the four other types of sequencing: concept-related, which focuses on concepts' interrelationships; inquiry-related, which topics are sequenced to reflect the steps of scholarly investigation; learner-related, in which individuals learn through experience; utilization-related, which focuses on how people use knowledge or engage in a particular activity. Next is continuity. Continuity is a vertical repetition of curriculum components. This continuity ensures that students revisit crucial concepts and skills, ideas practice and skills that educators believe students should develop over time reappear over the length of the curriculum. And continuity is the most evident in Jerome Bruner's notion of the spiral curriculum. Next is integration. Integration refers to linking all types of knowledge and experiences contained within the curriculum plan. Integration also emphasizes horizontal relationships among topics and themes from all knowledge domains. Next is articulation. So articulation refers to the vertical and horizontal interrelatedness of various aspects of curriculum. That is, to the ways in which curriculum components occurring later in a program sequence is related to those occurring earlier. For instance, a teacher might design an algebra course so that it relates algebra concepts to key concepts presented in the geometry course. So articulation is difficult to achieve, and few school districts have developed procedures by which the interrelationship among subjects are clearly defined. So we have here vertical articulation and horizontal articulation. For vertical articulation, it usually refers to sequencing of content from one grade level to another, and it ensures students receive necessary preparation for coursework. In horizontal articulation, it is sometimes called correlation, which refers to association among simultaneous elements. When designing a curriculum, educators strive to give appropriate weight to each aspect of the design. For instance, in a balanced curriculum, students can acquire and use knowledge in ways that advance their personal, social, and intellectual goals. Keeping the curriculum balanced requires continuous fine-tuning as well as balance in our philosophy and psychology of learning.